So we're about to get the second half underway here at the Twickenham Stoop, and Chad Randall does that with Harlequins ahead by 14 points to 12, and Leeds, the reigning champions and clear leaders at the top of the Engage Super League, by 4 points at the moment, and they have a very important date with St Helens at Headingley next Friday night, and wouldn't the fat be in the fire if Leeds went there with just that 4-point advantage and not the 6 that they had coming into this weekend's round of matches.
It's a long way to go. This is, as you say, 40 minutes. Leeds showed last week against Hull that they have the ability to pile up a few tries, but if the Quins can just keep them quiet for maybe 15, 20 minutes, there could be a shock on the cards. They were red-hot favourites arriving down in London for this game.
It's a fantastic effort from Harlequins in defence, particularly. That's good defence, meanwhile, from Leeds Rhinos, and they're going to take the man over the dead ball line here. Oh, he manages to smuggle it away, though, to Will Sharp. Unbelievable, that.
Well, it looked for all the world they were going to get the dropout, wasn't it? And Will Sharp somehow got the ball, got over the whitewash. The most important thing that Brian McLennan, the Rhinos boss, would have said to him, this is the incident where he just got it away.
Just took it off him.
Yeah, great work from Sharp.
This is Scott Hill, great work from him to Henry Paul. I was just about to say, Steve, it's been a fantastic effort defensively from Harlequins, because I don't know how many times, but Leeds have been forced on the last tackle of the set to kick, and they've been inside their own half of the field.
That's right. They've really got into their faces. It's a worrying time for Brian McLennan. He wasn't too confident when he came down, as I mentioned, for that Challenge Cup game. And the Quins have used that same tactics. The effort has been quite superb. I mean, Brian McDermott must be happy. But Brian McLennan would have said at half-time, look, we need a little bit more work from the forwards.
Oh, great ball from Webb there. Out to Ablett. Let's find out what Brian McLennan did say. Bill, you were here, Wigan.
Well, not exactly, just getting a few tips from Willie Poaching on the sidelines for the Rhinos, and he said it was pretty calm in the dressing room, but the message was that they've just got to step it up in all areas, not just the forwards, right across the park. They've got to really lift their enthusiasm. They've got to be a bit smarter out there. They've got to play for position a lot more cleverly. And I think we've seen evidence of that already, although not there, but that first tackle when they try to force Harlequins over their own line, evidence that maybe there's going to be a little bit more enthusiasm from the Rhinos in the second half, because I suggested to Willie that they're looking a little bit lethargic, and he couldn't disagree with that.
No, they're a bit flat, there's no question of that. This is Melling again. Substitute in each of his last 6 matches, Chris Melling. Just one Great Britain international cap to his name. Oh, he's lost that ball. Ronaldo lost the ball, and Leeds have it, so the referee says play on. That's 0.
Well, that was a problem last week against Warrington. They allowed the Wolves so much possession and field position, and they just couldn't hold on in the end.
Tansey, and the runner on his shoulder was Nick Scruton.
It wouldn't surprise me, if Brian McLennan puts in Rob Burrow at dummy half.
Here's Tansey having a run from there now. That's the third tackle. Kevin Sinfield 20 metres away. Maguire. Here's Burrow. And Senior going nowhere under pressure like that. Burrow is there this time. Finds Maguire. Maguire just drifts the kick over the top, and it bounces very nicely off the post and into the arms of Chris Melling, and that was an important ankle tap from Jordan Tansey.
Oh, he kept cool, didn't he? Just ricocheted away there off the padding, as though he does that on every occasion. Very calm.
This is Danny Orr. Now it's Julian Ronaldo. They come wide here, and it's Tony Clubb. Orr, Henry Paul. Great pass to Orr. Here now is Scott Hill. Harlequins building in midfield with Carl Tamata.
Pretty adventurous play as well by the home side. Not frightened to give it plenty of air.
Danny Orr again, finds Danny Ward. Ward has got Jamie Jones-Buchanan to go round, and Kylie Luluwai. He missed out then. This is Orr again. Angle kick from Danny Orr will be picked up by Maguire, flicked back into the arms of Lee Smith. Lee Smith gets a play on shout from the referee.
If you forget about for a moment who should and shouldn't win the game, we know that there's a favourite and an underdog here. What a terrific opening to this half. Both teams playing outstanding football. Leeds really pushing into some good support runs all the way through. Quinn's defending them. Then Quinn's opened the game up as well. Could be in for a real cracker of a half if they keep going like this.
Offload there from Scruton to Sinfield. He gives it width to Lee Sharp. And Sharp will attack down that right channel. The ball flicks out the back. No, it is a forward pass. It's a knock on, says the referee. Forward pass is the decision.
Well, I made the point that Brian McLennan would have said, hey, come on, we can't just score off every single opportunity. He tried to flick it there to Maguire, who said it had gone backwards.
I think it actually came off a Harlequin's hand, that.
Certainly shot out, went backwards either way, and that's the reason why Danny Maguire had a little bit of a word to the man with the whistle.
Even though they're not playing well, Leeds are still capable of putting 30 points on their opponents in the last 20 minutes. That's St Helens did less than 24 hours ago. And that, I think, is the reason why Harlequins are still wanting to move their ball around. They know they need to come up with plenty of points. It was perhaps an error from Hull last week to be too conservative and hope for that final hooter.
This is Danny Ward, and he spun away from one would-be challenge from Scruton. Couldn't get away from the second one from Jamie Jones. Randall to Orr, to Scott Hill. And here is a chance for Bryan. Lamont Bryan, well, the try line was beckoning then, and Keith Senior was all over the top of him and delaying the play of the ball. Penalty for interference to Harlequins. Great chance for them here. Tamata gets the ball away to Danny Orr, who suddenly found a hole. It comes to Scott Hill. Scott Hill then to Rinaldi. Leeds coming back in defence. Only the first tackle, that though. Great opportunity for Harlequins here. Scott Hill again. This time Keith Senior wasn't going to let him get past it. And another chance. And more heavyweight defence from Leeds required and provided. And more needed, but that could be down. That could be down, that.
Then it'll be the fourth tackle.
Chad Randall.
Well, the body language from Harlequin says it is. And Randall
He's
is
pretty
celebrating.
confident. Very confident indeed. That's try time. Little doubt about it. He went right underneath. That's a great run. He's had an impressive game so far as Chad Randall. He's controlled things at dummy half. He's had the ability to sprint away so that every time he's offloaded, well, no doubt as far as I'm concerned, on the first looking, just to confirm it, gets the ball down in between Sinfield's legs. This will be given. This is TRY. I think it's quite clear on the first one. Yep. It's at the side of Maguire's leg, not over the top. Surely this has got to be given.
Ben Thaler is the video ref, and his version is the same as yours. The try is given to Harlequins.
And fully deserved. Good work by that man in the picture. The fans like him as well, because it was some superb dummy half work that made the forwards go over the advantage line to get into that position. And Randall scampers over underneath 4 or 5. Maguire tried his damnedest, and boy, a huge shock is on the cards here.
Henry Paul to add the extras and stretch the lead. 3 from 3 for Henry, 4 from 4 for Henry. 20 points to 12, the Harlequins lead.
Well, it took a while for Ben Thaler to say that this was a try. Look how they got close on all the occasions. And the third one, Randall says, if you can't do it, boys, I can. Boom. Just threw a little dummy, then ducked, went over. Great stuff.
Danny Ward driving it forward on the first tackle, the next set of 6.
Well, the travelling fans from the north on that far side,
they're as subdued as their team, Steve-O.
are they ever? And this is no fluke.
No, that try was set up because of Harlequins willingness to move the ball wide. They run from Lamont Bryan, set them up into that position. They got a penalty. It's not as if they've just fluked the way downfield. Big, great play by them here today.
The kick downfield from Danny Orr will turn Brent Webb around behind his own goal line. And Webb is met by a good chase, led by Henry Paul, 34 years young. His 50th start today for Harlequins, and Henry Paul will be joining Leeds' sister club in the other code on a 2-year deal at the end of this campaign.
Well, Jamie Peacock has been thrown into the fray, and it was Peacock, his last 10 minutes in that cup round, that lifted the Rhinos out of the doldrums. They need something very, very special indeed, because the Quins, they're tackling their hearts out. Oh, not playing the ball correctly.
Well, can I tell you, any referee, or was it walking off the mark? I think it's walking off the mark.
Yeah. Takes a step away. A bit harsh, perhaps.
I would say any referee in Super League these days, or even down under, and there's nothing wrong with the play the ball that turned out, but you could pick any of the 4 of the 6 play the balls in any set of 6 are not touched with the foot anymore.
Well, he definitely took a step out to the right-hand side.
Yeah, it wasn't. He didn't play the ball on the mark. Randall, the try scorer, waits. Danny Orr, ball in field to Marta. And Gareth Ellis was after him. Randall again. Scott Hill. Good ball. Warrensey. Good run from Warrensey. Still going, he is.
Oh,
The
he's got to put
referee has got
offside.
him for offside.
Well, they don't have to panic at all.
They'll kick this, won't they?
Surely they'll go for the 2.
I think he's indicated he's tackled the player off the ball, isn't that the that's the when the referee does that with his arms, illegally tackling a player without the ball.
Henry Paul off the field anyway, so and when I said they'll kick this, won't they, Tony Ray immediately shook his head, and we might well see the reason why in a moment. This is Mabou.
To stretch it to a 10-point lead, though, is a great advantage.
Well, if they stretch it further, and they might, it's Ward! He's so short. Just. But that was a good move. And there, it's a knock-on by Tony Clubb.
He's furious with himself as well.
Well, what a good opportunity wasted.
Especially with the fact that they didn't have to panic. They were holding a good position.
What about the Danny Ward run, though, on the angle? Nearly caught them napping, didn't it?
Certainly was. It was good defence from Ellis.
Yeah, that was the key, Steve. That was good defence from Leeds. Quins threw a real lot at them for a long time there, and they really stood up to it. A real good sign for Leeds. Sometimes the defence can be the best way to gain some momentum and lean some pressure on the opposition. They had to defend that set, and they had to defend it strongly.
Sinfield's on his way to the sideline here, from the base of the scrum. You have to compliment Harlequins from the way they're playing here.
But I cannot believe you are exactly 10 metres from your own try line and you try to make movement on the short blind side. It's schoolboy error. And Brian McLennan has got to get the word out and say, hey, listen, why go the short side when you have the opportunity? Full credit to the Quins.
They're in the face of the Leeds Rhinos today. They really are. They're not letting Leeds settle on the ball at all, and they're looking very busy. That was a great pick-up off the deck by Chris Melling.
Scott Hill is coming out wide. It looks as though they've gone on that short blind side.
David Howell.
Randall's your key here. He's got to push out. He can't just keep passing. He's got to push out and engage the ruck.
This is Danny Ward again. 3 tackles gone. Randall's there. Back it comes to Danny Orr. Here is Scott Hill. Over the top looking for Lamont Bryan. Finds him. And Lamont Bryan goes to ground. 4 tackles gone.
Dummy from Scott Hill.
Melling. Here's Scott Hill. It was the dummy nearly, but he gets the ball away to Mabou. Off it goes then to Danny Orr. He'll kick it through.
Too strong.
That's a poor kick from Danny Orr. And I must say, Danny Orr himself knows it.
It wasn't a very good expression on the face of Brian McDermott either. It's a real let-off for Leeds.
Wouldn't surprise you here now if Leeds score in this next set. It's typical of their play this year. They can absorb pressure and then really come up with a counter-punch.
Rarely when we have seen Leeds Rhinos this year, though, have they been tested like they're being tested here. That's a good run, though, from Peacock. Here is Diskin, being allowed to run from dummy half. He finds Maguire. Maguire gets it away to Burrow, who is immediately collared by Tony Clubb. Now Brent Webb and Ryan Bailey. That's the last for Leeds.
It's got to be the bomb.
Maguire will hoist the high kick. Looking for Lee Smith out wide. Ball is off the Harlequins man, is it, or is it off the Leeds man?
It's off the Harlequins.
It's a decision for the touch judge. It's the turnover. It's a knock-on by Leeds. And they've got it absolutely right.
Lee Smith has been deemed to touch the ball on the final moments. And that's another thing that Leeds have been sucked into this. There's been a lot of verbals as well from the Quins outfit. They're having a good old natter to their opposition. And they're bossing this game.
Big hit on Scott Hill, but he gets away from it, and he gets away from another, and he flicks the pass to Janowski, who's just out there. Another one of the youngsters that Brian McDermott talked so fondly of. And the kick downfield from Randall.
Here's a good one as well. Hits terra firma. They've got their one line of defence. Oh, that's a great chase. That is wonderful.
You have to make the tackles, though. You have to make the tackles. And they've missed three there, and this is Jamie Jones.
Well, there's an interesting example of the ball not going dead. We spoke about it before. Why would you kick it dead? Then you just have Webb and Jamie Jones, Buchanan, and those guys coming back and challenging him. And it might sound good to stay in field of play, but sometimes push that bit deeper, challenges him, quietens down those restarts.
Here's Maguire, he's got inside David Howell, and Danny Maguire, he's away from one would-be tackler through Melling, no support. Sharp did well with the tackle, Ellis the dummy half, here is Burrow. Burrow then, trying to jink his way to the line. Mabou wraps him up. Diskin to Maguire again. Maguire delays the pass, finds Ablett, and Ablett tried to get it away. Offside. Howell is offside.
Well, sheer pressure. He was left with no really alternative than to pick up a knock as well.
I think he's ruled offside at the play of the ball, though, not the offside from against David Howell.
Either way, more pressure. Leeds desperate for this. They know they're going to score pretty soon.
Bailey.
Bit more enthusiasm there from Bailey. They certainly need it.
Diskin and Sinfield, short ball, great defence again. Buys it, Ellis trying to struggle his way to the line. He wants to get up and play the ball. Diskin, Brent Webb, Rob Burrow. Burrow to Senior, and Senior with the power will score, will he?
Yeah.
Yes, he does. Referee just checks with the touch judges, and Senior with the power down the left-hand side. Suddenly the Leeds Rhino supporters are on their feet. Keith Senior's try. 4 tries in his last 4 games. So that's 5 in the last 5 now for Keith Senior. One of those was his 140th for Leeds last week against Hull. So 1-4-1 for Mr. Evergreen, Keith Senior.
To be fair, it was a much better effort. It was Maguire that put themselves in a very good position indeed. Melling just got back in time, but when they gave away the penalty, they had the numbers out wide. Burrow knew that, and he came like an express train. That's a good effort. He's in fine form, Senior. He's a senior person as well within the team, but he's playing. He's always about 19 or 20 years of age. He really has got the smell for this game back in his efforts.
He's hit the post. Kevin Sinfield, 20 points to 16 the score. But Senior's 10th try of the season, a man who made his debut against London in 1999, but Brian McLennan knows his men are in for a torrid last quarter.
Well, the thing that the Quins have to do is not think they can hang on for the 4 points. They have got to make sure that they apply the pressure, still play adventurous rugby league football. We know that they're dangerous when they're 20, 15 metres out from any opposition line. It's very rare you get a full length of the field try from the London outfit. Running repairs, it seems, for the referee, Ashley Klein.
He's getting a battery inserted in his walkie-talkie.
I'm glad you mentioned the walkie-talkie anyway.
Peacock loses the ball. Harlequins swoop on the mistake. Danny Orr.
They've got to camp down now.
Peacock anxious to make amends for the error, and he clobbers Adam Janowski. This is Ward. What would he give for a victory against the Leeds Rhinos? Danny Ward. Randall. Scott Hill. They've not really coped with Scott Hill's threat. There's been danger for Leeds every time Hill has had the ball in hand. He plays it there to Randall. He loops the pass to Orr. Here is Janowski.
One more drive and then perhaps an inside pass.
Well, there's the last tackle. And there's the pass. And there is the defence in numbers for Leeds. But look where Leeds will pick up the ball as Brian McDermott barks his instructions on the side. They pick up the ball right on their own line, and they haven't made too much ground forward there. They make a bit here with Diskin.
That was a tremendous little move there, you know, by Chad Randall. He's had an outstanding game. Got to make sure they don't give away a silly penalty and 30 or 40 metres downfield.
And the touch judge is on with the flag up. He's seen something here. Don't know what he has seen, but he's about to report to the referee.
Well, it's Tony Clubb that's over the top of the full back.
Well, sadly, we've
Oh,
lost.
is that a bit of a headbutt?
We've lost the referee's microphone, sadly, so we couldn't hear the report. But it's a penalty to Leeds.
I think it was just the late movement with the head from Tony Clubb. And what I just mentioned that they could do without.
Last quarter of the match. Harlequins ahead by 4. This is Peacock. Jamie Peacock is absolutely immense for Leeds, isn't he, in situations like this?
He always seems to come to the rescue, but there's still 4 points adrift.
Gareth Ellis through 1. That's the third tackle, and they're 20 metres away. This is danger for Harlequins. Maguire. Bailey. Sinfield. Sinfield to Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Here's Senior again. This time Tony Clubb gets to him. Oh, but Senior with all that strength. Lamont Bryant held on as well. Jamie Jones-Buchanan tried to fool them all then. Gets the ball away. Senior. Still Senior. Now Maguire. Maguire. Short ball. Oh, he goes without it. That's a knock-on. Or was the ball stripped is what the referee will ask the video referee.
You said that was knocked down.
Was it knocked out?
It was knocked down.
In the tackle.
He's done the right thing, Ashley Klein.
Yeah, you can have a look at it.
Ellis loses it before. I don't think it's been stripped. We'll see better in slow motion, perhaps. Ooh, was that a fingertip there? It's hard to say.
That's not stripped out.
No.
Well, it's certainly got a fingertip to it, but it's not a strip. You'd have to say he was going for the man with the football, not the one on the left.
Warranty would
Warranty.
be delighted if he stops Ellis. Never mind getting near the ball.
This will be no try. It will be a knock-on. It will be head and feet at the scrum, I feel.
Yes, to the Harlequins.
Fourth tackle.
There's a knock-on.
Well, the clock is ticking away. And the red-hot favourites who came down today are still 4 points adrift. They'll be loving this in St. Helens.
Won't they just? This is Janowski again, or Janowski to give him his proper title.
Oh, he's lost it.
Oh, he did. Oh, that's just a touch of inexperience from young Adam Janowski.
Well, they all run around him and say, come on, don't worry, get on with it. We've still got a job to do.
Brian McDermott describes this fellow as a young Bernard Dwyer. You're talking of St Helens. And Bradford, of course.
Well, if he turns out anywhere near as good, they've got a real bargain.
He's been training with the first team since about 2006, apparently, and is a product of the South London Storm. Maguire. Senior. Running straight. Maguire again. This is Peacock. Shrugs one off, keeps going, Peacock.
You talk about the experience there. The big centre, Keith Senior, knew he had to offload the football.
Sinfield steps out of one challenge, steps out of two challenges. Ball goes up in the air, bounces around all over the shop. Knock on, I think he's ruled, Ashley Klein.
Head and feed to the defence, which should be the Quins. Sinfield definitely offloaded it. Oh, they've got a fingertip for that one. Yep, he's got it right.
Yeah, I've got to say it's been a good half of football in many ways. Both teams are trying things, challenging. The defence has been so resilient from both sides in difficult, hot conditions.
Henry's returned, Henry Paul. At 34, he must need a rest.
Well, it'll certainly stiffen up the defence. And that's a high shot.
Got Brent Webb for a high shot on Henry Paul.
Henry will just have a little bit of a lie down there, no doubt about it. Well, this is a vital 20-30 metres upfield. Scott Hill makes no mess with it. And the longer that this game goes on, you just got to say that Leeds will have to revert to something that they did in the first half, and that was try to score on every single play. Psychologically,
16 minutes, Steve, still a long time though, isn't it, to get one try in rugby league?
well, I know, but you'd have to say that Leeds should have the experience to do that. But the Quins will just keep trundling along. They know after the last tackle, a good kick, good chase. Wonderful play by Randall. And that's not a bad option as well by the Australian Randall. I know there's a lot being said, and Senior has had a go. Well, we can do without this. The option to irritate Leeds in a frustrated state. He's been in a few melees in his career. There's that fella, the coach, Brian McDermott, and it's not a bad little option. Randall, we can do without the things that went on afterwards, but it was Barrow that whacked him straight across. I don't know why he...
I think he took exception to the fact that Bailey hit him late after he'd gone down. I think that was where all the trouble came from.
Well, I suppose Randall didn't realise who it was, so he picked the nearest man, which just happened to be Keith Senior. This should be a penalty. It was Rob Barrow that went high, which is pretty hard for him. There it is. Hit him into the face, dropped it down before.
Long report being received from Ashley Klein.
And I get the impression that Henry Paul will go for two now.
Well, I think the Harlequins might be penalised worse here with players going up. I think that it was some of those players who got a little overexcited, came running in from 20 metres out, and that's now deemed to be far worse. Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook was one that I identified. I know Leeds had some players in there. Keith Senior wrestled the player to the ground, but I think it was a bit of over-enthusiasm among two of the young Quins.
I think you're right, Phil. He's looking for the pocket. He's not looking for the chewing gum, that's for sure. There's the yellow. Looks like Senior's the first one to go, and I think Chad Randall probably will go with him.
in the sin bin.
Well, it looks like Haggerty, is it?
No, it's Louis McCarthy's
McCarthy.
card.
Oh, okay, you were right, Phil. The touch judge obviously was keen on that.
And it's all on report. All that schmozzle was on report.
There was a nice touch in back play, a little bit separate to the incident, while the referee was getting his words from the touch judge. Chad Randall and Keith Senior had already shaken hands, nodded and winked at each other. It's a real tough game. They've had a bit of let the gaskets go, and they're just getting on with it. They didn't think too much of it.
Yeah, well, I think Randall thought that Senior was involved and perhaps was told that he'd done no wrong. It was one of the smallest players on the field that started it all.
Well, it was just a brush across the face, Steve. It wasn't really a high tackle from Rob Burrow. I'm convinced it was what happened when he was on the deck and Bailey came over the top and caught him on the back of the head, I think.
Either way, it was a good option for Randall to get everybody excited.
What it has done is taken any momentum or flow out of the game for Leeds. That's what Leeds need now, the high tempo. They've wasted over 2 minutes on the clock and they've got another 2 points on the scoreboard.
They have. Henry Paul takes the penalty. He was off the field earlier, remember, when Harlequins got the penalty almost in front of the sticks and they decided to run it. Didn't come up with any reward. Henry Paul back on the field now and they've decided to kick the goal and they now have a 6-point advantage.
Pretty good option as well.
14 minutes remaining here.
And steadiness in the play. I mentioned the fact, Eddie, that against Warrington in the opening 15 minutes they dropped the ball so often. There was no opportunity for the Quins to boss the game. But it's been completely different. They've learned from their mistakes. Full credit to their coach, Brian McDermott.
Well, it's 12 men against 12 men now. So there's a few gaps out there maybe that the two teams can exploit. Howell, his head is in a bit of a headlock there.
We often talk about a team that's wanting to get to the halfway line, and they've done that already. And that's how you boss the game.
Danny Orr, and this is Chris Melling. They're just over the halfway line now on the last. Kick has to be good from Harlequins. And Henry Paul just dabs it down the line. It's a cracker! Oh, he just couldn't take it in, Will Sharp.
Good opportunity as well. Super little kick down that blind side. All the years of experience certainly running through the body of Henry Paul. Good position that could have been. Look, for all the world, that Brent Webb was really off balance to try to get to that football.
Eddie, if Scott Donald is the modern-day Martin Offiah, I think he needs to come off his wing here now and come up with something special. He has the pace to score from anywhere. He needs the ball in his hands.
Well, he might get it in a minute. There he's dropped it. And so has Lamont Bryan.
He doesn't matter.
So he'll play the first knock on. Harlequins will get head and feet at the scrum.
That's why wingers stay on the wing, Phil.
Well, they had the opportunity. It was a good play by Abler.
Dipping a bit. To be fair to Donald, it was dipping a bit.
I'm only joking. I agree with what you're saying, Phil. It can do with getting them, particularly amongst the tiring forwards. That's when you want Scott Donald's space.
Look at David Howell. There's the scars of battle. I don't know whether that's to tape a broken nose, is it? It won't be very pretty in the morning, that's for sure. I don't think he has got a... Someone's just said in my ear that David Howell's a bit of a snorer. But I don't think that's any remedy for that.
Well, I doubt it. Maybe his wife or girlfriend has got some sort of influence.
Here's Ward for Harlequins. 11 and a half minutes to go. Harlequins 6 points to the good.
This is where they should be setting up for the drop goal.
Henry Paul. Here is Mabou.
Down the middle, Mr. Mabou.
Struggling to lay a hand on him.
Will they go early?
Well, 4 tackles gone. Orr is there. There's no sign of Henry Paul sniffing out a one-pointer. Scott Hill dabs the ball to the in-goal area. They're going to get 4! Will Sharp! They're going to get 4, never mind 1. Second try for Will Sharp. And Harlequins are on the way to a famous victory here. Delight on the face of Will Sharp.
Well, there's been occasions where this Harlequin side, and especially Scott Hill, can often overcook the play, but not on this occasion. Sharp, as his name suggests, was exactly that. Scott Hill, a perfect kick through. Lee Smith was nowhere to be seen, and they have paid the price. And I think we can safely say that not even the great Leeds Rhinos are going to come back from this one. You saw there Maguire pull back David Howell, and whilst that was in operation, Mr. Sharp was exactly sharp onto the ball. And if he kicks this, surely there is no way back for Leeds. You never say never in this game.
Henry Paul, 5 from 5. Henry Paul, 6 from 6. 28 points to 16. We could be witnessing one of Harlequins' great nights.
Well, a lot of people thought that perhaps it was just a fluke that day, that Leeds didn't play well. And I know I keep repeating myself about the Challenge Cup, but I said before the game started that they had the ability, but Leeds, it looks as though they're not going to give it in.
A short kick off and Brian McLennan furious. And there's another penalty here for Leeds. It was a short kick off, and that's why Leeds are where they are. This is Ryan Bailey. Diskin finds Peacock. Peacock looking to lift his men again. 10 points, 10 minutes. Maguire, great defence again. This is Brent Webb. Burrow. Jamie Jones-Buchanan short. Burrow again. Back to Rob Burrow, and Burrow will score for the Rhinos.
It'll be given. Can they come back?
Well, they did it 5 weeks ago. Brian McLennan knows that as well, that they were in this situation in the Challenge Cup 5 weeks ago and came back to win it at the death. And it's all as a result of this short kick-off.
It was a great take, wasn't it? Ablett made sure that he got possession, and it was a good offload there from Webb. That's a nice try. You can always be sure that a little halfback Burrow will never give anything in.
This is a big kick, though, coming up for Kevin Sinfield. 28-20, this kick. And he has not kicked it. It's bounced back off the post. Second time today he's bounced two off the post. 28-20, Harlequins still the favourites.
They've got that 2-point buffer. Leeds know they have to score twice to have any chance of snatching this game.
Harlequins injury news, Bill.
Yeah, Danny Ward desperately unhappy to be leaving the field, but he's been struggling with some sort of leg injury for the last 10 minutes or so. He had a bit of treatment out on the field, said he wanted to continue, but they've decided that he can't, and he's going to have to come off. And so Ward has left the field. He would have loved to have been out there if they are going to wrap up the victory here against his old club.
7.5 minutes to go. And out on the full.
That is a shocker. Brian McDermott, don't go anywhere near him. He'll kick you halfway to Chelsea.
Eddie, you said when Harlequin scored in the corner with Will Sharp that I don't think anyone thinks Leeds can come back, and you're probably right, but the most important people didn't think that, and that's Leeds. And that's why they keep coming back, because they keep thinking. They don't look at the scoreboard, they keep looking for plays, looking for opportunities and creating them.
Well, this is a massive set of 6. And Peacock is the man who is driving them forward from the front again.
This will be sheer desperation from the Quins. They'll be throwing everything at them.
It's okay, it's okay.
The pass is poor. It's into the arms of Lamont Bryan.
What a
They're
time
not
to come
quite
up.
there today, Leeds, and that's taking nothing away from Harlequins, who have been magnificent.
They've controlled the game, Eddie. We mentioned halfway through the game in the first half, that Leeds wanted to perhaps score off every pass. Remember, it looked so easy, didn't it, when Peacock just strolled over for the opening try.
Scott Hill gets the ball away. And Howell finds Will Sharp. and Will Sharp tries to outmuscle Sinfield, gets the pass away, and Warrensey thought the line was begging. It is here again for Will Sharp. This is Scott Hill. Here is Chad Randall. Chad Randall, over the shoulder, and Melling couldn't take the pass in. That was the game.
It certainly was. Unbelievable play. Unbelievable. Sharp, and then to Warrensey. They just would not give in. What about the little flick pass with the left arm? And Randall, and it just couldn't get. He knew it was over. There is still plenty of time.
Senior and McCarthy Scarsbrook on the sideline, pacing, waiting to come back after their 10 minutes in the sin bin.
Now Melling is not back. He's anticipating maybe a kick over the top.
Mistake from Ablett. Penalty. Hands in at the ruck.
Ooh, that is a big call.
Yeah, from Ashley Klein.
Tamata looks in absolute shock and disgust. Oh, there was nothing wrong with that. Ellis completely lost it. Ablett, should I say. Well, they're very fortunate.
Senior's come back on the field while all this is going on, by the way. And the referee said that he's got another minute, and so has Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook. They are furious, these two players. They want to get on. They think they've done their 10 minutes in the bin.
Well, where's the fourth official?
The touch judge has said to the fourth official that he's incorrect with his timing.
Well, confusion reigns all around, and the officials are getting a little bit excited.
Well, we've got a note up here on the gantry that says 65th minute that those two players went to the sin bin. I wonder if there's been any time off in that time, but anyway, they're still ahead of themselves, aren't they, if you look at the scoreboard? Because now we're 75 minutes into the match, 5 to go, 8 points the difference. Rob Burrow with the ball, Kylie Lulawai with the ball. Carl Ablett now has it, and great defence again from Danny Orr. This is Diskin. Here is Maguire. Flicks the pass. Sinfield. Over the top to Rob Burrow. Burrow finds Ablett again. Ablett, he's gone round club. He's got the ball away to Scott Donald. Scott Donald scores in the corner.
Oh, it's not over yet.
It's another big kick coming up for Kevin Sinfield. But it will not put Leeds back in front. Well, it's a contentious penalty that Leeds were given. Where was hands in the ruck there from Tamata?
There wasn't. It was as simple as that. The touch judge didn't even help the official. Ashley Klein gave the penalty. But the man that got away with it, Ablett, is the hero here. It's good play. In and out. Switched it around. And Donald did enough to get over. The nerves are jangling here in the capital city. Ablett was superb, so was Donald. Sheer desperation. Now, Quins cannot afford.
Sinfield hurries the conversion attempt and misses. Leeds, scored 5 tries to 4, but Henry Paul has come up with his best goal-kicking display of the season, and at the moment, the Henry Paul boot is winning this match for Harlequins. 4 points in it and 3.5 minutes to go. Leeds, will they now throw caution to the wind? Maybe not. They've got to have a go.
Who's going to be their hero? Sheer desperation written all on the faces of the Harlequins defenders.
Here's Scruton.
It's imperative now that they do not give away a silly penalty. Remember, it was a controversial one given by Ashley Klein. Ablett certainly was not interfered with, and it was given against the Harlequins.
They are throwing caution to the wind. The Leeds Rhinos, and Burrow was nearly through. Flicks it back though to Lulawai. Lulawai hits the deck. That's the 4th tackle. Another great set of 6 here thus far for Harlequins. Leeds still inside their own half. Maguire. Long pass from Maguire. Ablett has switched wings. That's the last.
Chip over.
Ellis. Maguire's running it. Loses it. Ball is back with all.
Maguire, and he knows it too. He's injured.
Leeds will probably get the ball back for another set of 6. But it depends what Harlequins do in this set. Club.
Once they get over the halfway line, they'll probably dink it over the whitewash. They'll make sure that there's going to be a scrum.
I think it's easier to kick it over the dead ball line. Both wingers will drop back and make that a difficult return.
Tony Clubb again. Can I hear cheers coming into the Twickenham Stoop all the way from St Helens right now? It's Leeds Saints next Friday, and they found touch with the kick.
Blood pouring out of the ear of Danny Orr. He's played his part.
1.5 minutes remaining.
It has been a tremendous effort.
In the last set from Leeds, the biggest threat was offload, not the wide passing that they were looking for. The Quins, if they're going to win this one, they're going to have to lock the ball up in this sector. There's going to be a lot of short passing runners going off the hips of all these Leeds ball carriers.
Well, Brian McDermott, just a penny for his thoughts. He knows he is 1 minute 24 seconds away, but Brian McLennan doesn't look too concerned, does he? He seems to be enjoying the party himself.
I think his thoughts would be you don't win when if you're in front of 78-36. He knows it's 80 minutes. There's a long way to go in this game.
Well, the biggest set of 6 of Harlequin season coming up here. Senior. Roundly booed every time he receives the ball.
Melling's done the right thing. He's gone back. But he hasn't gone deep. He knows that Barone, the likes of Maguire, have got the ability to dummy and go through the gap. It's sheer desperation now for Leeds. They've got to do something different.
We're in the last minute. Scruton up the middle, but great tackle. All over his back there was Chad Randall. Maguire, great play. Great play by the Harlequins defence, and that could easily win them the match. Here's Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook.
Well, that's the second occasion that Danny Maguire has just messed around.
All they need to do now is just take it easy, go safe. They don't seem to know what that means, Harlequins today. Lamont Bryan plays the ball to Henry Paul. He's got all the experience in the world. Look, Jordan Tansey trying to wrestle the ball away from him. And Henry Paul will take his time. There's 34 years of experience there. Here's Carl Tamata. Still Tamata. 2 seconds away from victory. Scott Hill, short ball. There's the siren. Leeds have lost. Harlequins have won. Brian McDermott, arguably his finest hour. He has beaten the runaway leaders and reigning champions and World Club champions with a team that he had to put together. A makeshift side in many ways. But what a night for Harlequins. A fantastic win.
The best team don't always win a game of rugby, but they have here tonight. You know, it takes a unique talent to do what Brian McDermott's done. Bring young, inexperienced players, mould them along some very, very seasoned professionals, and yet combine that to provide an energy, but also a creation in attack to be able to score some tries against the best defensive team in this country. They may have found them on an off day. I know that Leeds, you're not able to run a personal best every time you put your training shoes on, but the Harlequins have thoroughly deserved it with some good invention in attack and some desperate and yet well-organised defence when necessary.
The Leeds Rhinos' run of 9 successive victories comes to an end, and